Hey, Mets fan, still a Mets fan here, and I really want to get down to business here. Let's talk turkey. The Mets have to win a lot of games to even come close to winning 83 games, which is what the Reds did last year and took the wild card from us on the last day of the season. We had the wild card in our hands, went up in smoke. So here's where I'm going to look at. Going to be positive about this because it's very hard being a positive New York Mets fan these days. Because when I turn the TV on and they're down 2-0 in the top of the first inning, and David Peterson is just have no idea what's coming out of his hand, it's like we might as well be down by like 45 runs. And in all seriousness, it feels like we're down by like 8 runs when you give up 2 runs in the first inning because the offense is anemic. We scored 8 runs the day before. We shut a team out, we blank them, we pitch great, and then we just get demolished by Cade Cavalli, who did give up a home run to Juan Soto, but that was an empty home run, and that's why he gets called Juan Solo. But Juan Soto is also hitting out of position, which is possible. But then again, the guys in front of him are also hitting out of position, which is possible. Bo Bichette should probably be hitting third. We need somebody who's going to be getting on base, taking his walks, and getting Soto traffic. Because if you get a hot Bichette who's starting to turn it on, 1 for 5 tonight, not great, still got a base knock. So he didn't not do his job for the most part. And not to say that was a good game, but there's a lot of left. There's a lot of life left in this season. There's 30 games played. There's 132 games left. Mets can win 73 games out of those 132. It's a 56% winning percentage. And though that's asking a lot out of a team that has just looked like complete dog shit over the past 4 weeks, it's not impossible. Washington Nationals were 19-31 in the 2019 baseball season. And they went on to win the World Series. I'm not saying we're the Washington Nationals of 2019. We don't have Max Scherzer. We don't have an Anthony Rendon who used to like to play baseball before he got paid by the Angels, and that became probably the worst contract in baseball history. And they had a Juan Soto who was 20 years old who was saying no to a $400 million plus contract because he knew Uncle Steve down the line was going to pay him. Not that he knew that, but he knew it. He knew it. Yeah, he knew it. There's a lot of game. There's a lot of ball to be played. Teams get hot. Teams get cold. This team has had their cold streaks. I'm a firm believer that that's not the trend that this team is going to continue going down. But there has to be a change. The change has to come from up top. The change has to come soon because we cannot continue to lose games to teams that are just not good. Now, we're not a good team, so we shouldn't be expecting to win games against bad teams. But the Nationals, the Rockies, the Twins, we're going to go play the Angels, who might kick the shit out of us. So we need to turn a gear. We need to turn it on, and we need to turn it on quick. Otherwise, we're looking at a very deep hole that we have to climb ourselves out of, and I just don't think that's feasible or possible. So Freddie Peralta starts tomorrow. There's a good chance we could win this series. We could leave Citi Field with our tails tucked between our legs, but get 2 out of a possible 3 series wins. It's not impossible. It can happen. Totally can happen. But then we've got to go out to this West Coast trip, and we've got to start playing consistent ball. When this team draws 5 walks, and this team puts the bat on the ball when there's runners on base and some are in scoring position, that is when we win games. That is when we get timely hitting, timely outs, because there are timely outs. There are such a thing. When you're moving runners over or you're getting a run in because you're getting a sacrifice fly, sometimes errors happen, much to the chagrin of the Nationals of the first game of the series. That's when you start to build the momentum of a team that, hey, maybe there's a chance we can flip this. I've been a fan of way too many losing teams over the past 40 years. I've had one championship, and it was 1986 when I was 5. So I don't remember that. I remember 2000. I remember Piazza making the last out of that game against the great Mariano Rivera. I remember 2015 in a series that we should have beat the Kansas City Royals, and we didn't. But again, that was a team that shouldn't have even been where they were. But again, that's what magic happens. Magic happens when you take a team that is struggling and you band them together and you say things are going to be okay, but it's got to come from the manager. And when the manager comes and he has a post-game conference and he just doesn't have answers and he doesn't know why his players are playing the way they are, there needs to be a new voice. Philadelphia already has a win on their ledger. They had a rain out tonight, and I can guarantee you Don Mattingly is going to set them up for some kind of success. Not saying the Phillies are going to be what they were a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2022 when they made the World Series. But what I am saying is that they're going to be motivated to win. Dave Dombrowski, my least favorite GM in any sport in North America, still has the pulse of the team and knows that he needs to make moves to make the team better. Does David Stearns have that pulse? Does David Stearns understand that you cannot throw anything at first base and expect it to be a Pete Alonso? Not going to beat the drum, a dead drum, of Pete Alonso because that ship has sailed. But you take a first baseman who is good at scooping, not much else, but he hit 38 bombs, set the National League record for 53 home runs, knew how to play to the New York crowd, understood how important it is to be a New York Met. When you remove that nucleus of a team, there has to be ancillary parts that are going to answer for that. So, Mets fans, tell me what you think, because I want to be positive. I want to share positive energy with you guys, because that's the only way to live these days, is that there's so much negativity in this world that those of us who are positive need to share the positive energy with others. This is not a kumbaya session. Not asking for that. But I'm asking you to be open-minded to what can happen. The aces have to pitch like aces. They have to have their best seasons. Regardless of what they've done already in the season, moving forward with Freddie Peralta starting tomorrow, he needs to start having ace-like games. He needs to start having shut-down games. Nolan McLean, 24 years old, still considered a rookie, kind of needs to do the same thing. The expectations are way too high for him, understandably so, but he kind of did that to himself because he's so great at what he does. Lineup changes need to happen. Francisco Alvarez cannot hit cleanup. That is a ridiculous spot in the order for him. He needs to be dropped to 8th and let him lament there and figure out what he can do to be a better offensive player, because defensively he's gotten substantially better. But to be honest with you, I'd rather see Luis Torrens get in there, get more reps, and have Alvy either DH, which is not possible right now because Soto's hurt, so he needs to hit. So have either Alvy pinch hit late in games and just see and adjust and understand the flow and ebbs of this game. He came out of the chute hot. 2023 bashed Homer 25, 27 home runs. So yeah, he was hot early. He's not that hitter right now. Hasn't been that hitter for a while. Granted, he's been hurt, still. He's not going up there, and his chase rate is god dog shit awful. He's chasing everything because to him, everything is a 5-run grand slam, which makes no sense because that's not possible. But he's taking the weight of the team. He's putting it on his shoulders. And the tattoo that says the best, probably the worst tattoo he could have possibly put on his body. But I'm not one to judge people about tattoos. I'm one to tell you when you got a one that's a little stupid. Sorry I made this long. But again, 73 more wins. 132 games to go. The math is a little rough. But then again, baseball is just baseball. You cannot dictate what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't bet on baseball. I never will. Because that's just something that I don't believe in. I feel like it's against my religion for some reason. But I don't trust a line that I look at and I'm like, oh, Mets got a 60% chance to win, and then they lose by 6. It just doesn't, to me, it doesn't make any sense. Not discouraging you from betting on baseball. That's your choice. But something inside me is telling me that this Mets team is not done. Something inside me is telling me they just need a change. And that change, unfortunately, has to come through a man that doesn't deserve to be fired. But some of the decisions he has made throughout the year, throughout the end of last year, he needs to go. Kai Correa could be an interim manager until we get somebody with an established resume. But I'll leave that up to the geniuses of David Stearns and Cohen and all that. Guys, let me know what you think. Went on a little bit of a tangent here, but you got to be positive because I'm damned not going to live this life with a negative mindset. I saw that game today and I knew once we were down 2-0, it was like, holy shit, it's over. I'm going to pay attention to what I have to pay attention to, get my mind out of that space, and think to tomorrow. And I'm doing that. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. If you start the day off with this video, I hope you think of it as a positive video because we have to give nothing but positive energy to this team moving forward. Thank you for being supporters, for all 96 of you who have subscribed. Hopefully there's more of you to come. Share the content if you enjoy it. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I will see you tomorrow. Let's go Mets. Let's go Mets.